Are you frustrated wondering if this guy is ever going to commit, or you don't even know where you stand in his life? Listen, I can help you with that. My name is Stacey Speller, and I am a relationship expert. I am a life strategist. I help ambitious women just like you make smart decisions so that you can have the life and the love that you actually deserve. So be sure to subscribe to my channel so you'll get notified whenever there's a new video, and give it a thumbs up so that I know that you like it. So, the dreaded conversation, the talk. You've been dating a guy, could be a couple months, 3, 4 months in, and you really like him, and you think, you know what, this has some potential, and he's showing himself to be a good guy. You're wondering, maybe this has a future. So I want to give you some tips of how to do what you can do next, because the last thing I want you to do is end up with another heartbreak or be too invested in a relationship if he's not going to commit. So the first thing I need to make sure that you do is don't make any assumptions, because ladies will do that. We'll meet a guy and we're thinking, oh my goodness, I really like him after the first or second date. And we're thinking, oh, he's so nice. He's this, we had a great connection, maybe great conversation. Maybe he's attractive to you and you feel like you've got good chemistry, whatever it is. And then we assume he's in the same place and we assume he's going to do the exact same thing that we're doing. So what does that look like? Maybe you come off all your dating apps. You don't accept dates from any other guys, not even a coffee date. You won't have, even just a phone conversation. You're ready to go all in because now you're ready to get completely invested in this guy and what this relationship could be before you even really know what it is. So I need you to make sure that you're not making assumptions. The first 2 months, you just want to enjoy the process, enjoy getting to know him. But if it looks like it has potential, then I need you to make sure that you don't just assume and cut off all of your options, because guess what? Doing that, if you do it more than a couple times, you'll start to get resentful. It can start to take away your confidence, and I don't want that for you. So I don't want you to assume. I can't tell you how many clients that I have after like the third date. They're like, oh, I told him I'm not going to date other people, or I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to do that. Give it some time before you feel like you need to have this talk or the conversation or find out where it's going. So let's say it's been 3 months, depending on the frequency of how much time you spend with him, how much you get to know him, how much actual real conversation you have with him. Because, I don't play that text message stuff. That does not count as conversation. Texting is how you send a message. It's not how you build a meaningful relationship. So you're actually having conversation with him. You're spending some time with him, even if it's, electronically, because maybe you're in a different city or you're far away. So, you're Zooming, you're FaceTime, or whatever it is, you're actually starting to form some connection. So it's been a couple months and now you're thinking, okay, but he's not saying anything. I don't know. I'm not sure where this is going. And it's starting to make you kind of feel a little angst about it. And, even sometimes a little insecure because you're thinking, shouldn't he be saying something by now? And then, the dreaded second guessing yourself where it's like, well, I wonder if he feels the same way about me as I feel about him. Is he feeling me the way I'm feeling him? And, before you know it, you're off to the races. So don't assume after about that 3-month mark, it's okay for you to have the conversation and get crystal clear on where you are. Okay. So first thing is, you're not going to assume. You're not going to cut off your options and put the expectation on him. So let's say after the second date, you find out he's still texting another woman. It's okay because you have not had the conversation. He's maybe not moving as quickly as you are with his emotions, and it hasn't been established that this is going to be a monogamous relationship. So you can't get your feathers all in a ruffle about that, okay? So no assumptions. It will help save you some heartbreak, okay? Now, the second thing I need you to do, and ladies, this is important because we need to be in a good place emotionally before we try and have any kind of meaningful conversation that projects a future with a guy, because men are not going to be able to handle if we come to them like an emotional trainer, like, oh my God, we've been dating for 3 months, you haven't said anything. You've got to make sure you're in a good place. So even if you had a bad day at work, you were thinking, okay, tonight I'm going to see him, we're going to have the conversation. If you had a bad day at work, if you're not in a good place, maybe you had an argument with somebody in your family, maybe you heard some bad news, whatever it is, Make sure you're in a good place emotionally before you start trying to have a conversation with him about where is this going. You want to be able to be so kind of even keel about it, not detached or distant, but you want to make sure that you can keep your emotions in check, because what you don't want to do is become that emotional, just kind of out of control, what's going on, and he's like not even knowing how to process it, like whoa, what is this, what is going on. So make sure you are in a good place emotionally, because here's what, in order to have this conversation, you have to be willing to be vulnerable, but you can't be vulnerable if you're not in a good place emotionally. So I want you to always keep that in mind, that you need to be in a good place emotionally, even if, you know what, even if you're not healed. Maybe you haven't healed from an ex properly and you're starting to see triggers, or you're starting to see patterns, and that's kind of making you feel concerned. Again, it's triggering some insecurity and you're looking at some of those patterns. Then you're not ready to have that conversation. In fact, you may not even be ready to get into a committed relationship if there's any of that residue. You need to be almost able to go to him with a blank slate, where nothing else in the past that's happened matters, where you're not thinking, okay, I gave that last joker, a whole lot of time and he never committed, so we about to find out what's going on here. No, that is not the headspace that you want to be in when you get ready to have that conversation, okay? So you need to be in a good place emotionally, because the next thing I'm going to need you to do, the third thing, and this is not easy, ladies, is you have to be willing to be vulnerable. Now, vulnerability needs to be balanced. Vulnerable but practical. You don't go pouring your heart out to him like, oh my God, I think I've fallen in love with you. I think you're the one. I've already started planning our wedding in my mind. I already know where this is going. I can already see us in our house. I'm already, taking the religious biblical approach, going Bible on. I'm saying, I'm speaking life over our 2.5 kids, our house in the suburbs, our power couple vibe. Like I'm already seeing this. No, you want to be vulnerable, but you want it to be balanced and you want it to have some practicality to it. What does that look like? It's perfectly fine to own how you're feeling, but in a way that puts it out there so he knows exactly what you're saying, but it doesn't make you feel desperate or anything like that. So it may look something like that. I've really enjoyed that we've been spending time together, and I'm really enjoying getting to know each other, and I hope you're enjoying it as well. And then this is where you pivot, ladies, and the pivot is critical, I promise you, okay? So after you tell him how much you enjoy getting to know him, how much you enjoy spending time with him, after you enjoy the similarities that you two share, the laughters, the movies you like, the hiking trips you take, whatever it is that you're doing, after that, the pivot is when you actually make it about who you are, what you value, and what you want. Because then that takes him off the hook. If he's not interested and he's not going to ever commit, then this is how you can flush that joker out, basically. And it gives him a nice, easy exit ramp. And ladies, I know this is hard because you want to find true love and you don't want him to get on the exit ramp. You want him to stay the course. And I hope, I pray for your sake that he is going to stay the course. But here's what I know for a fact. You would rather know 3 to 4 months in that he's not going to commit and he's not the one than 3 or 4 years in. Because you can cut your losses at 3 to 4 months. I always say sometimes you have to cut your losses, before you lose yourself in it. You will give 3 to 4 years and now you've lost yourself in this relationship. You almost don't even know who you are without this relationship. 3 or 4 months, your heart may break. You may be disappointed. You may have to take to your couch for the weekend with some movies and a blanket and a tub of ice cream, or however you or some retail therapy, whatever it is that you do. But you'll be okay, because you'll be able to say, you know what? I found out before I was so invested that I felt like I couldn't turn back. So you pivot, and the pivot is just, you've let him know what you enjoy and where you are. However, you also know what you value. You value the idea of commitment. You value the idea of marriage. You want to be married. You want to be committed. And that's the track that you're on. That's the goal that you have. That's what you want for your life. And watch this. It is perfectly okay if that's not what he wants. You just would like to know where he is. And then that just allows him to just say where he is. And again, you don't overtalk it. You just say, okay, this is where I am. This is what I value. This is what I want. And you hope that that's where he is. But if it's not, then you just want to know. And it's okay. And then maybe he says, I'm not ready, or oh my goodness, I really like you too, and thank you for that, because men always don't have the ability. They go into avoidance behavior and they like you and they enjoy you, but they're thinking, okay, well, I don't know if I'm going to be ready to initiate the conversation. Or watch this, maybe he's not really sure how you feel about him, because you may be very guarded, and so he's thinking, okay, I'm enjoying her, I like her, but I don't know where this is going. Either way, this is more about what you want for your life, and not about trying to make him do something that he doesn't want to do. So if he sees it as she's trying to make me just commit, no, you're just being very clear about what you want, what you value, and the expectations you have for your life. And if he's not it, it's okay. Nobody's mad. You might be a little salty and feel a little shady, but you don't have to admit that part. But that allows a very smooth, it's not, it doesn't become an antagonistic conversation, and it just allows you to know where you stand. Now, of course, once you know where you stand, then you have to make a decision. He could say, great, I see this having a future. I see us moving forward, and that's fantastic. And if he says, I never want to get married, or I don't want to commit, or whatever he says, as hard, again, ladies, I can't stress this enough, as hard as it could be for you to hear it, and as frightening as it is to find out, because you'd rather just keep enjoying all the good times and the connection you're having and the fun that you're having. But the reality of it is, if you want to be married and you want a commitment, the more time you spend with him, the longer it's going to take you to get to God's best. So you need to know sooner rather than later. So even though it's hard, I want you to just be willing to, it's almost like summon your inner courage and be willing to do it. Because watch this, when you do this, it's like you're taking back your personal power and saying, I'm not going to let this joker control my life, where I don't know where he stands, and he could string me along for another 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then what? And this is not what I want for my life. So go ahead, be willing to do it. Don't do it before 2 months. Don't even think about doing it. Preferably 3 to 4 months would be a good time to start having that conversation and getting some clarity on where it's going, okay? Now, make sure, if you have not, make sure you download my free guide. It's my top 10 tips to help you identify why you're still single, but more importantly, what you can do about it. So it's a free guide. We love free. The link is attached to my bio. You can go ahead, download the guide, go through it. Let me know if you have any questions. You can always send an email, and make sure, again, that you subscribe to my channel and that you leave me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Let me know if this is helping you, and if there's other content that you want me to tackle and help you, because my goal is very clear. My mission is clear. I want you to have the life and the love that you deserve. And I'm here for that, girl. I'm here to help you with that. So again, thanks so much for watching. See you in the comments. Love you. Bye.